Right, we have our Mbawula Chat. This will be facilitated by Bulelani, and this Mbawula Chat is with Mr. Thabang. He's with us in the building. Let me just quickly read his bio. Mr. T. Technology. Mr. T, I've got your bio. They must know who you are and what you've done. Because sometimes they're like, very powerful. So I must read his intro and his bio so you know that he's a powerhouse and he's with us today. Wow. Mr. T, there you are. All right. Managing Director of Proserve Group. He's with us in the building, an industry leader with a strong passion and ambition for the construction industry. His passion propelled him to pursue a qualification in quantity surveying, BSc in quantity surveying, and further qualifications in facilities management, intensive project management, and more. So this is a man who invests in himself, continuously studying to make sure that he's got the knowledge to get to the next level. Over 17 years hand-on experience in construction. And he's gained the experience and networking in the construction industry. Managing Director of Proserve Group, to come and share his journey. And I love the slogan that says, positive impact today for tomorrow. We're having a Mbawula Chat, a conversation about the journey. Who is he? What has he done? How has he gotten to where he is today? That Mbawula Chat is going to be facilitated by Bulelani Balabala. So please can we put our hands together for Bulelani Balabala and our Mbawula Chat speaker powerhouse, Mr. Thabang. Come on, let's show them some love. Let's show them some love, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's still morning. Mariashi is Hammanskraal. Ngati woma 3 o'clock. You, a living sauna. No man, but this part of the chat, right, is Mbawula Chat. Mbawula Chat, abona ngesilungu kuthiwa fireside chat. You know, it's when, it's a moment to share ideas. I think we've had many of these things growing up, right? But we called them different things. Some had them around the fire, some had them around the Mbawula, some had them go kitchening, stofosela sakhale, some alatle, some have it around the dinner table, some have it more the plasma screen, depending on the guy. So this is what this chat is about, and just profiling and engaging with an entrepreneur who's done extremely well, and someone I really respect, my client, from over 9 years ago. Hey, I've made money here, I want to be honest. And it doesn't even look at a quotation, it just pays. And it was the time of my life. Yo. Amazing team. Get it 20,000, but repaid. But it won't happen to you. That was just me, man. A gentleman I really respect, who's done extremely well, in the project management, construction space, shared services space, and who continues to, push the boundaries to a whole new level. And I really respect you, and I think you've done extremely well. But I'll act now as if I don't know him. And just to the amazing entrepreneurs in the room, just share with us, Thabang Mbembele.
Yeah, no, Rimelang. The part about invoices being paid without being scrutinized or negotiating a discount, there is no such. There is no such. But by the way, my name is Thabang Mbembele. Whenever you hear somebody about bio, how you get shocked, or yo, is that really me? Who's that? I've got very strong roots in Tembisa though, because my father was a teacher that's out of town. And interestingly enough, my mother, when she retired, she was a nurse at Jubilee Hospital. It so happened that as we speak now, I actually have a project to revamp and renovate Jubilee Hospital. So one is actually very well much entrenched in this community. I've got family members, Modi Lopia, and one of my best friends, in fact, runs a law firm, Hammanskraal, called Mulati Attorneys. So I know this community, I love this community. So the invite for me came naturally. I'll come to Hammanskraal. I was like, no man, that's my second home. I think I've been to this very same place after dark. Obviously, it's changing now. So yeah, so Thabang Mbembele is that father of 3, husband to 1, entrepreneur, as he has rightfully mentioned. And yeah, and I've been doing this for the last 17 years. This being running a company called Proserve Consulting. Basically, we consult in the built environment in terms of quantity surveying, project management, and all other ancillary services related to that industry. Yeah, essentially that's me.
And I mean, you've been in business for over 17 years, right?
Correct.
What has given you the staying power? I mean, knowing that entrepreneurship is so difficult.
Yeah. So, Bulelani, for me, that's I want to answer you in 2 phases. One, I'm a patriot at heart, meaning I want to see my community thrive. I want to see my people thrive. I want to see those around me thrive. And the industry I'm in allows me to build social infrastructure. Social infrastructure meaning I build hospitals, I build roads, I build clinics, I build schools. How does that lead to our communities that we all live in thriving? When we build a good school, it means we are creating a center of excellence for our children. What that means, we give them a better opportunity to get into good universities. Once they get into good universities, they get good jobs. Once they get good jobs, they contribute to the tax base. Once they contribute to the tax base, we can build more social infrastructure. Fast forward, we move from being an emerging economy, or from being a third world country to a first world country. Essentially, that's what it is. So when I say I'm a patriot and what's kept me in this industry for this long, is because of the love for my country, the love for my people. I want to see us thrive. We need to thrive. The reward, you get something called return on investment. For me, my return on investment when the mayor or whoever it is that comes to cut a red ribbon to say, I'm officially opening this school, is knowing that I have taken, or I was part of a team that has taken kids from learning under a tree or in dilapidated classrooms and putting them in a structure that will allow them to be at their best at all times. I often joke with some of my colleagues to say, you guys are busy paying a lot of money for all these private schools, but the kind of schools that our government is spending and the quality of schools that we are building now, the smart schools that the Gauteng government is investing in now, they're actually better than some of these private schools that you're sending your kids to. So ideally, colleagues and friends and fellow businessmen, if we can adopt that model from clinics, hospitals, roads and all that, South Africa will be a better place. As I was saying, Bulelani, what's kept me going is me being a patriot. Yes, in the process, I'll make a living here and there. But bottom line, I'm a patriot and I want to see South Africa be a better place for all.
Now, you can give a round of applause actually, because I think I was cutting someone. So one of the things I picked up about this amazing gentleman some years back, he's a man of excellence. If it's not the right way, you redo. I've had to redo a couple of things. Where does that come from in sometimes I wouldn't even say community, but sometimes in a work culture that says, 609, it's okay, kizamile, but you're driving this level of excellence and it sort of permeates, and I think everyone in the room can feel in how you're presenting, in the various projects that you speak from, but I felt it firsthand.
Yeah. So, one of the things I see as that contribute to failures of small businesses would be people don't take themselves seriously. I know we often get told, don't believe the hype, nah. But guys, take yourself seriously. If you take seriously, it allows me as a potential client, as a potential customer, to take you seriously. I'll give you a simple example. As you walk in today here, the branding here, you can already tell the kind of event that you're attending. Had we walked in and the branding was of lousy quality and so forth and so on, you're already pitching it to the wrong people. But if you take yourself seriously, take your work seriously, and be sure that you articulate and you eloquently present yourself in all circumstances and all situations that you're in, trust me, your client, your customer will know that that is what I will get at the end. And that's what people resonate with, excellence.
Now, one of the things that I think sometimes we struggle with as entrepreneurs, I know I struggled with this for a very long time, right? And I think it's years ago it became a big inhibitant, is that I believe that I'm the only one who can do what I do in the business. And that was the thinking then, right? Why bring on a team? They won't do it better than me. They won't do it like me. But I think I've seen how you've been able to bring in very smart people and have them propel the business to the next level. Number one, how important is that to have the right people in the team? And how did you sort of maneuver in picking out the right individuals to do that and help you grow?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question, Bulelani. So I've got this thing that in a boardroom, I'm never the smartest person. If I walk into a boardroom and I'm the smartest person, then I know I'm in the wrong boardroom. So I always seek for the best talent. So when I go out in the market looking for people to join our entity, I look for people that when they speak, I feel like an intellectual dwarf. I need to feel like, damn, this guy is smart. I really want him in my team. That's the first part. And that allows you to free yourself. It allows you to do other things because they're so clever, they're so intelligent, they're so excellent in what they do. It allows you to delegate. It allows you to give them space to do what they need to do because they're so brilliant. You will not grow your entity alone. It's impossible. It's just simply impossible. You will need others. It's one of those things that find ways to collaborate as compared to competing. You will grow your net worth in that way. You'll grow your entity in that way. In fact, it will make you a whole-rounded person because you'll have enough time to do other things. You'll enjoy golf for those of you guys who play golf. You'll enjoy soccer for those of you who play soccer because you've got a team that's supporting you. You've got a team that's actually supporting and are driving the mission and vision and that live the brand in your absence.
I love what you spoke about, right? You touched on competition and it raises a question on my side, right? Years ago when I started my business, I was running an internet cafe. And anytime anyone would start an internet cafe, I'd get angry. So I became insecure. How did you work through that, right? In then saying, this is who I am and I'm confident in myself.
Yeah. So it's quite a simple one for me. An internet cafe is an internet cafe is an internet cafe. What I'm trying to say, a bank is a bank is a bank. A QS is a QS is a QS. They all provide the same service. You need to find something that differentiates you. What makes you different? What's your value add? There's this new word in business doing the rounds called shared value. What's your shared value? What is it that you are giving to your potential customer/client that the others won't give? I'll give a very simple example which I thought of as I was driving into Hammanskraal because we used to do it back then. There's a certain hair salon we'd go to, and back then, and context is important here, back then, the guy didn't use hair clippers to shave your hair. He used no cream. And we all used to drive there, no creamy, and then you get a head massage in the process. Now, we all used to queue for that hair salon back then. When you think about it, already then there was a million other hair salons that could do a chiscop. Really, how difficult can that be? The differentiator with that guy was, I'm not gonna use hair clippers, no hair, and then after that, you're gonna get a head massage. Guess what? The queue in that salon was always long. It was a very simple value add, if you wanna call it that. It was a very simple differentiator, but it what kept us going back to that salon.
And what inspires you, right? What keeps you going?
Sure. Bulelani, I'm driven by so many things. I rightfully mentioned my family dynamics, so that's one. On the business side, I'm driven by the fact that I need a better South Africa. I want South Africa to be better. There's a gentleman here who was pitching child safety. If we increase or improve the general income per household per individual, we will not have the need for such a difficult and important app. I think the app that he spoke about spoke to me, because some of these things are social ills. Social ills in the sense that when people are hungry, they will do things that ideally and inherently a person would not do. So what drives me is, can everybody have bread, meat, salt, and so forth in their household? Then you will see that there is no one who is born to be a criminal. There is no one born to be stoter or a liner or whatever you want to call it. Inherently, we are all good people. Inherently, we are all, we respect. We've got that thing in us. But economic circumstances put us backwards. So to answer you, Bulelani, what drives me? I want a better South Africa. I want a South Africa where my children, my daughter, can go to the mall alone and be safe. I want a South Africa where my son can come and party here and get an Uber back home without having to worry about his safety and well-being. I want a South Africa where my wife can go out for a night out with their friends and drink, and I don't have to worry about somebody spiking a drink and so forth and so on. All of that, I repeat, it comes back to what? Let's increase the quality of living and improve the quality of living of citizens of South Africa. Where does it start? Every one of you in this room, it starts with you. SMMEs. Guys, do not for a moment undermine your efforts. Do not for a moment undermine the contribution that you are doing in this economy. It's because of you, the income per household in South Africa, the quality of life in South Africa will improve. And once that improves, it's a ripple effect. Everything else will get better. That is what drives me.
It deserves a standing ovation. Maybe another round of applause, man. I knew he'd kill it. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, I'm taking all the credit now. When I look at you, I think even the first day I met you years and years ago, and this is the thing about entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, in my view, who've been able to weather the failures and the successes, they don't look like failure, man. And the thing is, because of your tenacity, you may, I think, and that's the thing about it, right? You make difficult things seem easy. So that creates a perception that says that they have it easy. Have you had tough days, and what have those days looked like, and how have you dealt with them?
Yeah, Bulelani, that's a very important question, especially for the audience that we are in now. Guys, don't let someone's harvesting season confuse your plowing season, and I'll explain what I mean by that. I've done my hard yards. I've done the hard work. I've been where you guys are. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my wife, where the one room was an office. Where for SARS purposes, I used to declare that as my office so I can get a tax deductible. So do not for a change, do not for any reason think your small steps don't count. They count. And they add value and they contribute. And they're equally important. I trust you understand where I'm going with this thing.
Yeah. Now, okay.
So your question, Bulelani, was more like, do you wanna put it differently, or was it well answered?
I think it was well answered, right? Okay. But I think a caveat I'd like to throw to that, right? A lot of the time, sales is a lifeline of every business. But one of the biggest things that sometimes you pick up with entrepreneurs is it's the fear of rejection. The fear of a client saying no, right? How did you navigate your way through that and build the courage to say, even if they say no, I'm still going to chart this journey?
So it's always important to get customer feedback. So with every no, try and understand why there was a no, so you can build on. It's a simple continuous development. I'll call it CPD, continuous professional development. You need to find out, why am I getting so many no's? What's the issue? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? It's important to get feedback, and it's also equally important to see who that feedback is from. Don't also let the wrong people push you negatively and say things that actually impact negatively on your esteem, if I may call it that, or your ego, or your business tenacity. So it's important to get feedback.
Yeah.
The no's will come, guys. the no's will come. That's part of business. By you choosing to be an entrepreneur, you inherently said, I'm a risk taker. And by definition, taking a risk means fail. That's simple. It happens. Resilience. You just need to have that resilience. You need to have, let's live to fight another day attitude. And with every no, let that no be a building block. Let that no be a success. Let that no be an educational moment or a teaching moment, as one of my colleagues would have said. For every no should be a teaching moment for you as well. To understand, how did I get it wrong with this guy? How can I get it better with the next guy?
So, on a personal entrepreneurial note, right?
Yeah.
What was a heartwarming moment for you in any parts? I mean, I'm sure you've had many. I think one guy we interviewed here says, you know, we are big now, we've got 100 employees, but the day I got a telephone line and it said, and it was an automated voice prompt saying, welcome to company X, Y, and Z. And he just called it every single day. What was your moment?
Yeah.
A moment?
Yeah. You know when you get a call from a chief in a village, and he realizes that there might be a language barrier between you and him. In as much as we're South African, we're meant to be able to be fluent in all 11 languages, but some languages are harder than others. Hey. So we had just built a clinic in that community, and I had even forgotten about that clinic, to be honest with you guys. I got a call from a chief from that specific village. And in our language barriers, in our language troubles, if I may call it that, what I got out of that message is, because of you, my son, and he referred to me as my son, already there was step number one. Wow, I'm now a son to the chief. Next in line to be royalty. Because of you, my son, my people no longer have to walk or catch a taxi, spend so much money, 50 kilometers now, to go to another clinic. My people can now go to this clinic and be helped and serviced at this clinic. That for me was probably the proudest moment of my life. That I don't know those people, I have never met, I don't know them personally, but the fact that we managed to come and design a clinic that made sense, that's geographically well spaced for them, and it impacts so much on their spending as well. Keep in mind, most of our people are living off grants and so forth and so on. So already the cost of transport just to go see a doctor, or the cost of transport just to go collect chronic medication, it's a big spend. Imagine your social grant is 650, but every month you need to spend another 100 rands just to catch a taxi to go collect medication somewhere. So having built that clinic, and the chief calling to show appreciation, to say, "Wanaka libereki, that you did well." That, I was ready to meet my maker when he said that. I felt why. You know, there's something called a Maslow hierarchy of needs. I actually felt at that moment, I have self-actualized. At that point, I felt, no. I still want to do more, by the way.
Now, you know, I think as a personal trait, I've observed very relatable, great at managing relationships. How important is it? Because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we undermine it and think, I'll get the next custom.
Yeah.
I'll get the next custom.
I actually loved what the speaker who came before us said about, connect with each other. Colleagues, your net, this might be a cliche, but it's true. In fact, things that are cliches because they are true, to be honest with you guys. But reality is, your net worth is only as equal as your networks. So if you don't network, if you don't market, if you don't connect, if you don't collaborate, if you don't do all those things that I'm mentioning, your net worth will not change. So to increase your net worth is your wealth. You need to connect with people. And I repeat the statement, guys. Do not think of others, be it in the same industry or not, as competition. Rather think of them as collaborators. How can we work together to tackle this problem? How can we work together to tackle this? How can we work together to come with a mutual or common solution that is an industry's problem? Those are some of the things that help.
And then last question, and then we're going to open up just for 5 questions and we wrap up. What was I don't know if it's a single piece of advice, it's a book you read, it's something you learned, it's a mentor you spoke to, you know, that has just shifted how you viewed business or shifted you at a particular point in your journey and you've just kept that message or thinking?
Yeah. So in 2007, when I resigned from employment and when I went to start my own business, my manager then bought me a book by Stephen Johnson, I think. The name of the book is Who Moved My Cheese? Colleagues, if I could, I would sponsor that book for everybody sitting here. I need every entrepreneur to read that book. That book essentially talks about unexpected change. Because in business, change will happen. And I'll give you a simple example. The way Proserve was pre-COVID and the way Proserve is post-COVID, it's two different companies. Now, I only appreciated the value of that book during COVID. That was essentially what? Easily 10, 15 years later? That's only when I understood the context and the importance and the messaging behind that book. Who Moved My Cheese? I implore you guys, please get a copy of that book. I'm not a marketing agent for that company or that publishers, but the message in that book is clear. Change will happen. Unexpected change will happen. We've seen it, like I rightfully mentioned, COVID. There were people who were pitching here who mentioned how COVID affected them negatively. And that book puts context to such. For me, honestly, that book has really made me look at things right in a different eye, in a different view.
So, round of applause. And then, any questions in the room? Just 5, please come to the front. Yeah, please just come. Yeah, don't be shy. Just, I don't want to have you on the camera, Pel. Yeah, any questions? We're taking 5 now. You just stand. Oh yeah, come. Stage is yours. Over and over again. I'm just going to ask one question so that we give other people a chance. Thank you, sir.
Hello again. So, great speech and lovely meeting you. So my question would be, as an entrepreneur, my question would be, if you were to be employed, what kind of a company or what kind of a employer, so to speak, would you prefer to work under?
All right. I prefer to work for an employer that allows for entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship. So meaning an employer that allows me to be an entrepreneur within their business. Mm-hmm. Now, what does that mean? That means an employer that allows me to bring innovation, new ideas, continuous improvement, and so forth in that business in order to grow. Remember, when you work for a company and that company grows, by default, you as employees, you also get to reap the benefits and you also get to grow with it. So that's the kind of company I would seek to look to employ that.
Dumelang babotle. Mr. Mbembele. Okay. Samatumo kitlanida libito la, the author of Who Moved My Cheese.
Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah.
You can Google it. I think it's Stephen Johnson.
Oh, okay. Yes. And my question is, growing up, did you know deep within you that you are not created for the workplace? Was there something in you that it may not have made you look different from others, but you knew that there's something unique about you up to the time that you decided to quit your job? What did really move you to follow that thing? You know what I'm trying to say?
I get you fully. Thank you so much. So, I'm partly religious, and I get a lot of partly because I also believe in ancestors as well. So I've got that thing going with me. I studied quantity surveying purely by mistake. I passed matric, I passed it well. I could have studied anything. I qualified just to study just about anything. Hakia University of Pretoria, I stood in the wrong queue, guys. But it was such a long queue. Nearly the queue, it was so long. By the time I got to the front to register for LLB, the lady said, "My son, you're in the wrong queue." When I looked at the LLB, the queue was like, just I was like, okay, I'll take this one. I don't know what it is, I'll just study this one. Where am I going with this in answering your question? Clearly my fate or my stars were aligned that I will study quantity surveying, and that is where maybe my ancestors, and maybe that's where God wanted me to be. You know, we don't always choose our destiny. Maybe it's predetermined somewhere. Yes, I know there's a lot of people that can say, no, you make your own destiny and all that, but I've got a different set of beliefs. That there's a superpower or something above us that's looking out for us, and that will guide us, and that will show you, or actually my son, my boy, my subject, whatever it is, however it is, or whatever it is that you relate to, will guide you. But this is the path you need to take. And that will never lead you astray. It will always take you where you need to be. And also, communicate with your gods. Communicate with your ancestors if you need to. Get guidance. Follow your gut feel as well. I trust that answered you.
Dumela mabotle. Lebitso la ka ke Thabo, I come from Habitat Consulting. Minjani bot. Yeah, before I come to your question, can I just say, as Habitat Consulting, we help the community with building houses. I just had to. We help the community with building houses. If you guys are looking for architectural drawings, you're looking for municipal approvals, or you're looking for double-story houses, structural calculations, whatever it might be, a slab, a ripple block, or in situ slab, just come talk to me afterwards. Or if you also want to build like a standing yana for your business, just check with me. And for today, I will consult with everyone free of charge, and I will answer whatever question you have in terms of the building industry. Okay. I'll try to bundle my question into, I've got like... Just one. Yeah, okay. Being in the build environment industry, and also being a fellow tax alumni, you know, we come from an industry where it's not transformed, and with that, obviously, it's not easy for us to break into the industry. From a young person like myself, who's been in this industry for less than 2 years, I just want to find out, how did you break through? So from you know, getting your first client to now working with Jubilee. Obviously, you know, when you have a client base and you get word of mouth and referrals, it's much more easier. But for someone like me that just started, how do you break into that industry to a point where you can service both, you know, the local community and also work with the government where possible? Thank you.
You've already started. The fact that you stood up here and did a pitch, you've already started, my man. You're on the right path. You are on the right path. You stood out there, you told us what you do. It was clear, it was succinct, it was to the point. Even I'm thinking, oh, I need to use this guy in some of my projects. Point I'm saying, you've started. You are networking, you are communicating, you are sharing your time and space with everybody, and you've started. Everything else will fall into play. But so far, you've started. That's good.
Sanbonan Molweni. My name is Bandi Lefihla. I'm a second generation of the product called Colic Remedy. My question to you, my brother, is when you resigned in 2007, what was your risk assessment to say the man that you were getting, obviously, you are not longer going to get the paycheck, so it means your business was already booming, was covering the salary that you were getting. I just want to check on those things. The reason I'm asking, I've already submitted my resignation letter. I just want to push. And now, I want to, in fact, once you mentioned that line that says you resigned and you get the book, I'm like, okay. You moved your cheese already, and I'm moving my cheese. So I want to know, what is it that you were looking at to say, no, it's good time for me to resign? Thank you. By the way, I can even take my resignation letter and go back to work.
Yeah. Look, our circumstances will forever be different as people. But my specific situation was, at the time the country was busy with the investment in infrastructure. It was pre-2010. So there was a lot of spend from a government point of view in investing in infrastructure, preparing the stadiums and so forth and so on. And cliche once again that goes, the rising tide lifts all boats. I knew I needed to be one of those boats at the time. And that carried us. It was hard getting in. It was hard the first couple of months. So you need to have the right support. Please do not undermine the importance of having the right support. And when I say support, I'm talking about your family, your friends, your network, people around you need to understand what is it that you need to achieve. Because the tough times will come, my friend. Tough times will come where you need to rely on people around you. So when you resign, I hope it wasn't a unilateral decision where you decided on your own. You need to make sure that the madam at home, if there is a madam at home, she understands and she buys into the idea, she understands the vision, she sees the long-term view, and your friends and your colleagues and so forth. But you need support. You will not be able to do it on your own. In my opinion, you will not be able to do it on your own. You need people around you to support you, see the vision, and in the end, they will be the biggest beneficiaries of your success. Because you will forever know that when I resign, these are the people that carried me. It's smart of you to do a risk assessment before you resign. It would be irresponsible to resign for the sake of resigning. Or do resign you need to do a proper risk assessment and balance your things and make sure that you'll be able to cover your base, if I may call it that. I trust that helps.
Thank you. Sanbonani? My name is Irene. I'm from Crystal Hope Bookstore. I'm the director. Our company sells academic books, general books, like your book, our African Reads books. Yes. So I heard you talking about a book. I'd like to know, where are you selling your book? Because we sell books like the one that you are selling, which is we are based in Soshanguve, Extension 5, and we can be found on our handle, which is crystalhopebookstore.com. If you are looking for a book to buy from us. So I'd like to know from you, sir, where do you market your book? Where do you sell your book? Because I know that these people who are here, they will want your book after this session. But on my side, if I know where to get his book, you can come and buy it from my bookshop. So I'd like to know from him where to get it.
Wow, that's brilliant. However, I just need to make one simple correction, my colleague and friend. It's not my book. I didn't author the book. I think the author is Stephen Johnson.
She's saying
Author one. Oh, hey, maybe I should. Yeah. So the book I was referring to, my sister, who moved my cheese. And I'm sure, please stock it, and all of us here will come and support it. But if your suggestion was maybe one day I should author my book, let's give it another 10 years. Let me get more experience. Let me get more understanding. Let me reach that top level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Then I'll take it from there.
Just one second. So the author is Stephen Spencer.
Ah, thank you, Spencer.
Spencer.
Thank you.
Dumelang. Ke nna Thatona Mbone, co-owner ya BGP Steel Manufacturing. So I heard you are doing buildings, and then so when you are building schools, there's a possibility that you are demolishing schools, right? So I want to say those demolished used materials that you are demolishing, I want you to contact me if you are taking them to scrap. I want you to contact me, and I'll come to you and I'll buy those sheets. Why? Because I know that when you're building like Jubilee hospitals, clinics, and all that, you are using quality roofing sheets. You are using 0.6 millimeter and above. My business specializes in quality. So those sheets, I provide them to my people, my African people. I want them to have a quality roofing sheets and also have quality shakes. So something like Building Africa. So which means Lena So question I'm 22 years of age. I started working with my father at workshop on high when I was 10 years old. So I've never been employed in my life. I don't know a paycheck. I don't know that. So the question that I want to ask is, because who we like running a business, separating yourself from the business, is like what's not other income. It's hard. Like colonial child banking, like a thing, like colonial banking, but you are broke, personally broke, because that's the shelter business. So how did you overcome this problem? If Lore unale chelete, there's shelter business marwana ona chelete.
Okay, and then this brilliant young man, and I repeat, this brilliant young man has answered three things: ESG, environmental consciousness, in a sense that he's saying whenever we demolish schools, we need to reuse some of that so that we reduce our CO2, impact on the world and so forth. Let's reuse instead of creating more. That's one. You've touched on the issue of sustainability. That's brilliant. I think you've really touched on it. We need to create sustainable industries. And the third one, governance. In a sense, you are saying you are self-governing. You've got a company account and you've got your own personal account. Now, continue doing that. That's normal. If you're employed, you'd get a salary and have a day. So do not live off the business. Have a system where you self-regulate and self-govern. That this is your business account, this is your personal account. And give yourself a salary to a point where you actually print yourself a pay slip, because you will need that. I mean, the people from Nedbank, they stood here and they explained to you about creating a track record, a financial track record. You will need all those things in future when you want to, you want to get a loan or a house bond, a loan, a mortgage, and so forth. You will need all those things. So you need to honestly self-govern. I think it was a brilliant question, and you are well on doing well, my man. Keep it up.
So we've got a few questions online, but we can only take a few. Thank you guys who are tuned in online all over the world, South Africa. So Lynn Mash asks, is it true that a good entrepreneur needs a good plan, or we all need funds to start?
You need a good plan. You need a good plan. I understand the whole thing about you needing funds to start, but with a good plan, the funds will follow. I'm genuinely of the opinion that if you plan your things properly, the funding will follow you, because your business plan or your business case will justify an investor putting their money in your business and lending you that money. And remember, when I say an investor, I'm not necessarily talking banks. It could be your uncle, it could be your neighbor, it could be your mother's stock fell. It could be those kind of things. That's an investor. But for that investor to relinquish their money to you to invest in your business, you need a good plan. If you don't plan well, you're definitely going to fail. It's that simple. So please plan.
So, not a question, but this is the final. It's a comment from Nomsa Eunice Chabalala, who's joining us online. She says she's truly happy to see the level of content that you are sharing here today. Thank you.
Thanks,
Nomsa. And then that concludes our Q&A. Last message for the entrepreneurs in the room. Then we take your beautiful picture.
I think it's Steve Jobs, ne? Stay hungry, stay foolish. Effectively what that says is that keep learning. Keep learning. Stay ahead of your competitors. Stay ahead of those in your industry. Stay ahead of your global competitors. That's exactly what I'm referring to. But keep learning. Learn new things. Be in the 1%. In everything that you do, strive to be in the 1% of that industry. The only way you're going to do that, you keep learning, continuous learning. Learning does not necessarily mean in a formal classroom education and all that, in as much as I am a very big supporter of such. But I'm also saying we all have mobile devices nowadays. There's a lot of education you can do for yourself here. A lot of education. Be cognizant of who are you following on social media? Why are you following them? What are you benefiting? What are you learning from that? And if you're not learning anything from that, unlock, log off. You don't need those things. There's a lot of ebooks that are available for free. I'm talking about things that will only cost you, the cost of it is just to download the book. But keep learning. Learning. That is what will get us ahead. Knowledge is the currency of the future, guys. Knowledge is the currency of the future. There's a lot of talk about we will make money through land and XYZ. Maybe we will, I don't know. But knowledge, I know that for sure. we will make our money through knowledge. When you've got knowledge, you become talent, and talent will be highly rewarded in this economy that we're living in. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Ladies and gentlemen, that then concludes our Mbawula Chat. Let's give Thabang a round of applause. And then if we can take a picture that I'll frame in my office.